The story is told about the Baal Shem Tov that he once went to a town. And we know that the Baal Shem Tov, when he went around from city to city, he would he would engage the townspeople in conversation. He was a populist, the Baal Shem Tov. And he traveled. Unlike his Talmud, the Mazit Shemagi, didn't travel. Sat in Mezrich, and he had a group of holy, what's called the Chavrai Kadisha, the holy group, and he taught them, and they spread his teachings. The Baal Shem Tov went from city to city. And he would talk to the simple folk. We know that part of his thing, part of his avodah was he would go to people and ask them, how are you doing? How's business? How's your health? He wanted to elicit from them that they should say, Baruch Hashem, Amir Hashem, Be'ezus Hashem. And he went to one city, and it was before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, and and he was talking to people, and he asked them in the course of conversation, tell me a little about your Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, what it's like over here. So they said, we have a Rav, he's our Chassan, he's unbelievable. It's just very, very strange that whenever we get to the Al-Chet, he starts singing and dancing. And no, we don't really understand that, but since he's such a great holy person, we defer. So Baal Shem Tov went to the Rav and said, I heard that when you come to the Al-Chet, you're singing and dancing. That's strange. Maybe explain that to me. So he told this Rav told the Baal Shem Tov, he says the king lives in a palace and he has many, many workers in the palace. One of the workers in the palace, the job of the worker is that he sweeps and cleans the courtyard and cleans out all the filth. The horses are there, and there's what they make, and he has to. But because he knows that he's working for the king, and because he knows that he's cleaning the king's palace, and he knows that the result will be that the king is going to have a clean palace, so when he's sweeping away the dirt, he's dancing and he's singing. He says the same thing over here. As I'm sweeping and cleaning away the dirt of Klal Yisrael, how could I help myself but to sing and dance? Now the Baal Shem Tov says that's great. Keep on doing it. Keep on going the way that you're going. But it's really this idea of adding a chayis into Teshuvah, an understanding of what Teshuvah is when we're trying to accomplish. And we know the big emphasis of Chassidus on Simcha Dafka, and that's something which is also emphasized in this week's Parsha, where we have the pasuk Tachas Asher Le'evadatas Hashem Elokecha B'Simcha V'Tuv Levav. How all bad things happen because of a lack of Simcha. All good things are a result of Simcha, and that includes Teshuvah. As son of the Balatanya, the Mittler Rebbe, he writes that there's some people who by them, Teshuvah is always with seriousness and with sadness and constant crying. And he says these people are missing the point. He says, imagine a son who has drifted away from his father, the king, a prince drifted away. And when the prince realizes where he is and what his predicament is, and how far away he is from his father, so he goes and he starts crying and he starts searching for the king and looking for him, and finally he finds the king and reunites. Now imagine if after he reunites with the king, he's still crying and crying and crying. He's missing the point. Now's the time to be happy. You've reunited with the king. The same thing is also, there's no question that there's an element in Teshuvah, a very strong element of a leiv nishbar, of a broken heart. But ultimately this leads us to tremendous simcha, knowing Varuach Tashuv Elokim Asher Nesana, that the neshama returns to Hashem and is restored, and that brings us to incredible simcha, which is a primary message of Chassidus, which gives chayis, which gives energy into the month of El and the Avodah of El.